right. So I'm going to ask my colleagues here, what was the one thing you learned at the table, either that you didn't know before or that wasn't discussed up here?
The one thing I learned is that you've already got this, because the comments that were coming up were about intellectual property, were about bias, were about litigation. You've already got the pieces that say, am I asking the right questions, and am I going to be able to put this in? And somehow that's very reassuring to me.
What happened over there?
Interesting conversation about scale data in advertising, in offer management, in demand management, in risk management, away from ChatGPT, that doing it at massive new scale is going to have some really, really big impacts. And then the flip side, a very interesting thing was, don't let this technology stuff detract you from those people that have been in your company for a long time that just have that fantastic gut feel judgment on stuff.
Oh, very good. We had one was really, I had energy and healthcare at my table. They had names, but I called them energy and healthcare. On the energy, it was interesting. They had used a generative AI, and when you asked about fossil fuels, the generative AI immediately went to alternative energy sources, and then it got trained again to make sure. So it really brought up the bigger question. It doesn't matter the topic, but it brought up the bigger question of who decides what reality gets fed into that machine, because you can, whatever goes in, it's going to come out, and if it's not in there, it won't.
It's a bias.
And as an aside, we talked about one incredible use case that is just coming out is the AI being able to predict pretty accurately what you're thinking about. So the way, and you're like, how can that even work? In a nutshell, is they train it by having you watch some videos and listen to podcasts. And the AI watches on an MRI the electrical impulses in your brain. Then they ask you to just think about one of the pictures you saw. Just bring it up in your mind, and the AI draws what you're thinking of. It's only 98% accurate at this point. So don't worry. Don't worry. All right, so I think we shall wrap now, and I thought I would ask each of us, if you're going to leave one parting thought or one thing you've already said that's most important, what advice will you give to board members that are here today on the effective and efficient use of AI in their organization?
You want to go first?
No.
Okay. Tremendous opportunity to expand the realm of the possible, but not a decisioning tool. It is not the easy button. It's the expand your mind opportunity.
I was going to say that. It's a unique time where the weapons on the competitive battlefield are going to change so much. You cannot be the team at the gunfight with a knife, right? So you need that. It's that important, different than it has been for 30 years. So you really need a technologist on the board that you can trust, and you ask them two questions. How important is architecture? And explain that in a non-technical way, right? We all know how important architecture is for this building, or city planning is for a set of buildings. And then the second question is explain how technology works in factory terms, right? If they can't tell you about inputs and outputs and process and throughput and OpEx and CapEx, you just got a technologist, right? They're not going to be able to play. Then even if you, when we talked about brain surgery at our table, that if you're going to get brain surgery, you're going to need a second opinion, right? You're not going to go, oh yeah, thanks. Nora, I'll do, that's the right brain surgery for me. It is kind of like brain surgery. It's complicated. It's full of errors. So you need, even if you get that person, you need a trusted second opinion. You need an expert. And if I could add one thing, there's this concept that I love called journey talent. And I love it because I invented it. But if you're going to go on a new journey, seed your organization with some talent that's been on that journey before. And you can find it and steal it from other places. Down in the trenches, in the middle, but go get journey talent.
Interesting. All right, then I'll wrap it with, let's see, I think the most important word was inflection point. I know we've, as technologists,
That's 2 words.
try to tell you, is it, I put a hyphen in it. It doesn't have a hyphen? Go with the hyphen. Okay. I know we've told you that before, blockchain, et cetera, but I'm really telling you, don't listen to that. This really is an inflection point, and I think we've all been through some of these disruptions before. What'll make it different this time is how fast it will go. So if you weren't, I think it's good if you didn't pay attention to blockchain, IoT, AR, VR, whatever. This one I would pay attention to. So as a board member, I would get educated, and in the post panel, you'll get an email, and we put some sources in there, videos to watch, things to read. We try to put a curated list together, and it's going to go really fast. So you're going to have to self-govern for a long time because the law, you're not going to get the right legislation. So you're going to have to anticipate what it is and just use your values and common sense. And then finally, on the speed of it, I'm just reminded of a line from an Ernest Hemingway book where the character was asked, how did you go bankrupt? Like, how did this happen? He goes, well, first it went slowly, and then it went suddenly. And that's how I feel about AI. We've been screwing around with it forever, and we're right now is the sudden part. And so if you haven't paid attention, that was good for the last 60 years. This is the time where we're going to get sped up. It's going to be 50 to 60 times faster, the rate of rolling out new technology. You will see it in the news every single day. It's nothing to be scared about, not time to panic, but you do need to prepare as a board.